What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show. We are here in Cards and Culture. I'm not on the purple couch, but we have two guests on the purple couch. So thank you guys for coming in. It's been a minute since I've had some badass women on my show, so I'm really excited to have you guys on. If any of our listeners are still here, but Keri's been on the show before, but I'm super excited to introduce Kristin. I've been working with both of you guys personally a little bit. You guys are trainers at F45, but I'm excited just to kind of catch up, talk a little bit, shoot the shit, and introduce you, Kristin. We're going to put you on the spot.
Right.
You weren't kidding about that.
I told you he's great at the intros.
Nah, it's going to be awesome. So, like I said, I've worked with you guys for a while. Keri's been on the show 2 or 3 times. Keri's one of the head trainers with F45 City Square. Kristin, you've been working with us now 6 months?
6 or 7 months,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So give us a little bit, or give our listeners a little bit of your background, fitness, wellness journey, all of that. I'm fascinated by it. It's been fun to work with you and get to know you. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my fitness career has kind of been a thing. Going on maybe 15 years now. I was not really a very active person growing up. I wasn't, I ran a little bit of track, played a little tennis growing up, and lived a pretty stress-free life. Always could kind of eat whatever I want, never had to pay attention to any of that. And as I got older, I started developing anxiety. Pretty severe, not debilitating, but pretty severe anxiety. And then when I got to college, as you get older and, your eating habits change and your sleeping habits and all those things that are playing a factor in, your temperament every day, I noticed that I was really digressing. And so I didn't want to pursue medicine for my anxiety. Yeah. And so I started exercising. Yeah. And it legitimately changed everything for me. My anxiety completely went away, and it fascinated me. So then I just wanted to learn more and more about that. And so I'd always worked in nonprofit, doing just mission-based work, right? Yeah. So, and if you know anything about nonprofit, there's no money to be made in nonprofit. And so to make extra money, I started teaching fitness classes on the side. Nice. So I'd pick up little certifications, a bar certification or a little like mat Pilates, and then I just kept getting more and more interested in fitness. And so I watched how I could impact other people's health in their bodies in the same way. And so it kind of went along with why I got into nonprofit work to begin with, to help people and to change people's lives. And so I just wanted to be the best at what I was doing. Yeah. And so I pursued some pretty advanced, expensive certifications that allowed me to understand how to fix people's bodies from their spine outwardly to their muscles. And really understanding the musculoskeletal system and how they work together. Yeah. And so, but I love weight training. I love cardio. I love spinal health, Pilates-based work. So I feel like I kind of have a good mix of all 3 of those things. And that's really what brought me here. And then, as I started working with people to hit their fitness goals, I found people were frustrated because their bodies didn't look the way they wanted them to look, not understanding the importance that nutrition plays in your overall health, your body composition. And so then I started pursuing nutrition certifications and sports nutrition so that I could better help my clients kind of get to their optimal health. Yeah. So here I am, 15 years later.
Crushed it.
I know.
I
love her story so much.
I can feel like I could just listen
I know.
and keep going. Yeah.
It is so personal too, because I don't know, the reason why you did it, a lot of people probably do it, have similar stories.
Yeah, likely. Well, we definitely don't get into it for the money, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's, Bo and I, right? Like even as business owners, you do get into it for the money a little bit, but if you're going to try to make money, Bo and I kind of, and that's why I think we're all here sitting here talking about this. We kind of had the same principles where if we're going to make money, we're going to do it in a holistic way of things that we're passionate about, things that we live our lives like, and we're going to help other people. And if we can do just a little bit like what you said of educating people and just opening their minds and ideas to possibilities, I think we're doing our jobs, you know, and that's the fun part.
Yeah, I think our whole team feels the same way. I think that's why it's such a cohesive little community that we have, and I think our clients pick up on that. And I think Bo said it last week. I mean, there's just a lot of joy in this community that you guys have created, and because you have passionate people that work with you and for you, you can't ask for really a better working environment than that.
That's
so
facts.
kudos to you guys.
No, well, again, it's for the people that, and I think too is so cool. I feel like we've attracted it, right? Like you put that energy out there, and like it's been organic that the people that come on board have either, you know, been at the gym and just liked our energy and been around it, or heard about it and wanted to come on board. So that's the fun part for us, is like we're attracting the right people. And it's like, as I hear your story over and over again, and we did the challenge when I first heard it, when I was, you know, you, me, and Drew were all on the coaching team. Listening to your story and how anxiety played a role in your fitness and wellness journey, to me is so powerful, because Keri and I talk about this all the time. And you know, choosing happiness, choosing your state of mind, choosing your state of being and stuff like that. So I love that you took that into control and you use fitness and wellness as kind of like your, I don't know, barometer, I guess.
Yeah.
We always say that attitude is kind of the one thing you can, when you can't control your circumstances,
That's right.
you can control your attitude toward those circumstances.
Right.
Or your response to stuff.
And your like environment as well. You always say like the gym is people's safe haven.
Yeah.
And I really do feel that. So,
yeah.
Without a doubt.
Well, talk to me a little bit about the new gym. What are some new things that you guys have seen, fun twists and turns with our members, anything with the new gym and that kind of stuff? So if you guys are listening and have been, you know, a follower, subscriber, all that stuff, thank you first and foremost. But you guys have been hearing me talk about F45 for a while. We opened up our second location, so it's across town, and we call that one F45 Bocage. And so have you trained over there yet?
Yeah.
Done a class? Yeah? Okay. So what do you think? I mean, obviously the gym.
I was talking to Bo the other day, and me, Kristin, and Bo would have coffee, and we were talking, and I'm like, I want it to be this big, like F45 Baton Rouge.
Right.
And then, you know, I don't want to say like, oh, City Square Bocage.
Right.
City Square got this, Bocage got this. Yeah. But then me and Bo kind of talked after that, and he's like, a little bit competitive, like having that competitive feel, kind of like people love that.
Yeah.
So what I'm excited about, because I already can feel it, is once Bocage is like a little more up and running, having competitions gym to gym.
Oh, yes.
Like, you know, we do the 30-day challenges, and or we can even do how many classes you do a week, whatever it is. And I think that's going to be kind of what brings everybody together, but also keeps it real competitive.
I always thought that there was going to be some sort of natural competitiveness, and just like, and I think if Bo, you know, and that's where I think Bo is so good at managing people. Like, he'll never let the competition get to the point that it's deteriorating for the team, right? But I think healthy competition is so good. So good,
and it kind of puts a little gas underneath like our feet to creatively think, how can we make where we're working more motivating for the members.
I think it changes little things too, like I'm, you know, taking pride in little things. Hey, the desk is this way, and like, you know, and you just keep up on little things that are like, this makes a difference, and take pride in that, you know.
It really does
grow your member base and stuff. It's cool.
But it's cool to also see, and I get it, Bocage is still new, but each gym really does have its own identity, and so I think that Keri and I think so harmoniously. I think about you know, how we work, how we live, relationships, all of that. And so we're really excited about taking all of our visions and kind of helping to create this very specific identity that will, like you said, draw the kind of people that connect to that identity. And the same will be true for the guys at Bocage. So yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And I'm excited if there's listeners out there who's kind of curious about both the Dirty Dozen thing. I really think it's going to be so much fun. And that's a good way to both gyms to kind of interact.
Let our listeners know a little bit about that real quick.
So the idea comes around like encouraging members to come to class more. And we're going to incentivize it with a social 2 hour around Baton Rouge. And if you do 12 classes within the month, you're allowed to join. And 2 hours of just socializing with all the trainers.
Where is it? Is it going to be at like Uncle Earl's?
So
or like
the
a
first
bar?
one was at Earl's. The second one is actually at Fred's.
Nice. Let's
Right,
go.
I know. At Crawfish Bowl, be like midday. I'm actually not going to be there, and I'm kind of pissed. Oh, I didn't mean to curse.
That's all right.
I was kind of mad about it. I'm like,
My listeners, I'm not afraid to curse on here. So
yeah,
this
sorry
is
about
not
it,
big.
guys.
Yeah.
No, but they're doing a big crawfish ball, and then I would love to do the third one, like in May,
Yeah.
at Point Meridian in the front.
Oh my God, that would be.
And we do like
awesome.
cornhole tournament.
Yeah, that's
Get
a
like
great
maybe
idea.
walk-ons to come bring their.
And guys, y'all should give us some ideas. Where do you want to hang out with
Right.
us and
I know.
get some good feedback?
I love
But I think it'd be a really, really cool like thing to do. I love when we do the social things with our members. I mean, I've made some great friends through the gym being open for 2 years. And I think that's so important, the personal. We always say that, but
And I think too, having those events are really cool and true to our DNA of who we are here in Baton Rouge, right? You know, a lot of people can open up their phones and see F45 and think, you know, corporate California, pretty people, you know, all this stuff and whatever. Oh, that's not me. That's not us. Like, no matter how you look, what kind of shape you're in, like we accept everybody and it's a great community and we like to have fun. Like that's the thing is like, we're not, I mean, a lot of us take our health and fitness and wellness very, very serious, but we also understand the balance. And I think that was always important and,
Right.
you know, something that everybody's really attracted to with our, you know, gyms here in town.
right. Well, you know, we were talking the other day, and I told you one of my favorite things to do is to learn people's stories.
Yes.
I really genuinely, that's how personal I am. And we always say everyone has a story. So these social events, and sometimes like within the gym, like if you're new or, you know, if you haven't really got to know me or Anthony or Kristin personally, you don't really know our story. So these social things is a chance to get to know us, but it's also, I get excited to know your story. And then it's like a special thing. And then it's just, I don't know, every time you learn something new about someone, I just think it's so cool. I'm like, dang, okay, that's amazing. Or I don't know. And nobody's story is less than anyone else's, or anybody's journey, should I say. So the social things, that's why I always encourage people to come, like, come meet us too.
Yes.
Learn why we are normal humans, I promise.
It makes the gym experience so much more fun too, because then they walk in the door, you're like, yo, what's up? Like it just creates that more friendship of like, puts down the barrier of like, oh, this workout's gonna suck, or I might not be in shape, or I don't know if I can do 12 burpees right now, you know, like, or whatever. So I think that really does, I mean, and if you guys know, like if you've ever been to a business conference or, you know, you go out with a new team or new people the night before, the next day at work is usually a lot more fun. You're like, oh, I saw your true colors, you know,
Right,
like, oh, I know you a
absolutely.
little bit more now, you know, and it makes that experience just a little bit more, you know, important or unique. And that's what I think we're selling at F45 is we're not just a typical box gym, or we're not just a typical orange, I don't want to say Orange Theory, but like class-based gym and stuff like that. You know, we try to get to know our members and develop relationships.
You're nailing it. I mean, to have a corporate brand that feels so comfortable and family-like it's pretty unheard of. You know, especially in you know, living in several cities and working in, I can't even tell you the number of gyms I have worked out over the years. I've never experienced anything like that from a corporate brand, and I always stayed away from the corporate world. I've done it in work, you know, throughout my career, when I was, you know, outside of fitness. And so, there are standards that are set in this corporate brand that keep us. It's a very high standard. I mean, you in any of y'all who are coming, like, you know that this standard of workout, it is so thoughtfully prepared for you, and watching all these different phases as the years go on, now that I'm seeing the background of it and understanding how the correlation between movement patterns and progressive overload and how clients can see actual progress. It is so smart. If you are not working out at F45 and you have any interest in gaining lean muscle strength and experiencing fat loss all at the same time, you would be foolish to not walk in this gym and take advantage of the resources.
I call it a mastermind of a workout.
They're geniuses.
They
Since
really
day one.
are.
They really are.
And I played at the highest level, and like that's where it's like, it's crazy that I played at the highest level of sports, right? And I'm putting quotes for people that aren't watching the video, because you know, when people think of athletes and stuff, you think of the highest level of sports, Olympics and stuff, but I wasn't getting nowhere near the training or instruction that I've learned in 2 years with F45. And I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not trying to sell. I mean, you guys know I work with you guys every day on these little things. And it's because of F45's workouts and the things that they do to be like, just keep you on your toes and make you every single day hold you to a high standard.
It really is. And I can give an example. The first probably time I worked out with you, we were doing just like deep squats. We're like, I was making them put their hands over their head and squat. He could not do it without his heels coming up. Like impossible. I'm like, whoa, hips or like it. I'm telling. I wish I had the video of it. And today at the gym, I was making him stand on a Bosu ball or two, and he was in a perfectly deep squat, perfect form, perfect back, and he was doing press outs. Like complete.
Look at you.
Getting there.
It was like unbelievable to watch. When I seen it, we both looked at each other like, how far off I come. Like I literally just thought that. I don't know, just cool to see him and both.
Bo to me, I mean, like, cause right, it's I can feel certain things, but I can't see myself. And like, when I watch Bo move, it is, and it's gonna sound weird, but like, yeah, I am so amazed. I seriously watch him do it. I'm like, because I've seen this man when he was 21 years old playing college baseball, and for him to try to do a squat catching, they tried to switch him. I told you that story, right?
Oh, you have to listen to this. It's a good story.
So Coach Maneri was really well known for like bringing kids in and being like, oh, you're a good shortstop, but like maybe you could be a good catcher or a good outfielder, you know, and it'll add value to the team. So they tried Bo at catcher one day. Like they're like, Bo, just go throw some gear on, see how it goes, you know, just go catch some pitchers. So he came to me, he's like, dude, I've never caught before. Can you just like be my guy? I'm like, yeah, I got you. Like, cool. I was like, all right, get down, dude. And I'm like, and he's like, all right, I can't do it for demonstration, but he was, I mean, it was this. And I was like, Bo, no, get down.
Like down.
I was like, get down, get in a crouch. He's like, I am. And I'm like, no, you're not. So it was his hip flexors were so tight that he couldn't even get into a catcher's crouch.
Wow.
It was absolutely insane. So just what I'm saying, like to see him come so far and do these introductions, do these things, be a personal trainer, run marathons, unbelievable. And just like his transformation of mind and body is pretty wild. So
yeah, to see that progression and to understand that even though you might come to the gym and you might not feel like you're doing anything right, but continuing to complete those movement patterns and allowing the trainers to help correct your form. And that's why I like this phase of programming. So if you're working out with us in April, this is the perfect time to really perfect your technique on a lot of these same movements that we see week to week and day to day, and then apply, you know, added weight and increased endurance and power and all those things, so that you actually are making tremendous progress without creating a kind of spinal situation that is going to leave you with with injury after you've applied weight to it. So
Absolutely.
So I like these kind of time under tension reps and the pauses and things like that are allowing you to feel the right muscles connect before you are adding movement to them. You know what I mean?
You talked about that today.
yeah, exactly. And I know we're on a tight time crunch, but I want to dive into this a little bit. This is where I think we're going to start like going off and we might just not be able to shut up. But I want to talk about a little bit, if anybody's listening that's a member at the gym and sees me doing different things other than an exercise, I think it's important to kind of tell people that I've been working with you guys privately about some things that, and it's funny, through F45, I've figured out so many deficiencies and movement pattern, you know, problems that I've had throughout my career playing or movement and all that stuff. So I've approached you guys with some stuff. Keri, you and I work on a lot of like hip and shoulder stability and rotational stuff. And Kristin, you and I work a lot with the pelvic floor and spinal articulation, all that kind of stuff. And so sometimes I do things and I think people think I'm challenging it, you know, more. And I'm actually like, no, guys, this is actually regression. I promise. Like it might look a little funny and weird, but this is actually because this is something that's important to me, my journey, my movement patterns, all of that. What's some advice that you guys could give to guys and girls to approach you guys to kind of like do that stuff, or at least kind of start their journey of self-awareness?
I think personally that's why I always say, come talk to me, like chat. You don't have to be all
formal.
Just let it flow.
Yep.
And I always say we can change the workout. So for instance, like Anthony just said, so hopefully everyone listens to this podcast so they know. what you're doing, your goals. Everyone could have goals. So let's say you need to get better at a certain thing, or you have a lot of weakness in a certain area. If I know that, or Kristin knows that, or any of the trainers know that, certain movements, we know what to do in order to either take a few steps backwards to get yourself better for that movement, or challenge yourself a little bit more. Either way, movement is good movement. You're never not doing less of something, so remember that. So I think having the open gym floor, like to come talk to us, let us know. We can always do that, like we're doing with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I really think, especially if you've been coming to the gym for a while and you've gotten to a place where you're lifting the heaviest you've lifted, well, that's all well and good unless you are overcompensating with the wrong muscle group. And so I do notice that a lot in the gym, and I know it can be hard to humble yourself and maybe lighten up your load on your weight so that you can perfect your movement and your technique before you apply resistance. Again, look, we have a very diverse range of ages in our gym, late teens to people that are working out in their 60s. We've lived for decades of life. Your spine has become altered. You've lost space in your spine. You've got compression tight that leads to things like your tight hip flexors, or shoulder instability, or weakened lats, or whatever it might be. And everybody has those imbalances. Every single person has an imbalance. And I can tell you, if you ever want to know, just ask me. Stop me in the gym, and I'll tell you what your imbalances are if you want to know.
She's not going to be afraid to tell you.
I will not be afraid to tell you, but there are such small things, just like we've been working with you. There are so many small tweaks that you can make to certain movements that are very precise but tiny, that when you apply those small little things, change the way that you move forever. And it's in a much healthier way. Keri's right. Movement heals your body. So not moving correctly or not moving at all is never the answer, but let us help you do this correctly. It's the benefit of having this perfect programming that's created by, our F45 leadership, but it's also the benefit of you having very educated trainers. We're not group exercise instructors. Right. That's the difference between F45 and a lot of these other big box gyms. We are highly trained in what we do, and we love what we do, and we love helping you. Right. So please let us help you. Do not ever feel like that you can't come up to us and ask for assistance. And sometimes you don't even have to ask. We'll just help you.
We'll just tell you. I don't, you said, your journey throughout fitness, mine was very opposite, 360. I literally since birth, I've been
doing fitness,
doing something. I know, just loved movement and this and that. But it wasn't until probably about 3 years ago where I really the muscle mind, really dug deep. And I have great movements. I'm just naturally, I always knew what movements were. Never, I didn't know, but I didn't trust the small movements to get myself better. And I feel better than I ever did today, just because of that. Actually toning it down, but focusing more on proper form, really firing the right muscles on certain lifts, which in turns.
Yeah, and sometimes that means going significantly lighter so that you're not just using the largest part of your muscles, but you're starting to engage the teeny tiny muscle fibers that are going to help reshape your body, especially when you're somebody that maybe doesn't care how heavy they're lifting, but maybe they want their body composition to change. Right. And if you're at some plateau, there's a reason your body has plateaued. It's because you're either overcompensating somewhere that you don't need to be, or you're just doing the same thing over and over again. But either way, neither of those things are the answer. Right. Something has to change. And so, I know a lot of our members come into the gym to not think. Right. They just want to be told what to do, and it's a relaxing 45 minutes, and maybe not relaxing, but a self-care 45 minutes. But that's why it's helpful to come to us 10 minutes before class, or stay 10 minutes after class. Yep. I mean, we can give you provide you with a lot your information,
especially with injury. Now you were saying you was always told just go. You got to finish. Your body's not supposed to hurt. Mm-mm. So it's you're waking up, you're oh my gosh, I'm hurting. Then you're doing something wrong, and that's important to let us know too.
That's what we were talking about. That's what I was going to say is, and I love that you brought up humility and those little muscles, right? Because sometimes, and what I was telling Keri this morning is some of the exercise she had me doing this morning, if I was doing them 5 years ago and Keri was sitting there, my mindset would be I'm going to be raw, just fucking finish, like just do it. And it doesn't matter how it's done. She's telling you to do 8 and you'll do 8, right? But then I'm going to lift my trap, then I'm going to cheat and use my elbow and like do these different things. I'm a competitive person. You tell me to do something and do 12 reps, I'm going to do it. It might not be pretty, right? But that's what I was taught in baseball my whole life was you're soft if you don't push through that stuff. And now I think we've just realized so much more, and it's humility of unlearning that mindset of like, you're not soft, you're not weak, you're not whatever, you're actually working smarter. And little cues that both of you have given me on so many things have completely changed my workouts and just refocused my brain of like, okay, I'm doing a bicep curl, but like I'm doing 15s. I used to be able to do 45s, but I also used to be like doing all this different stuff. Now I'm sitting here and I'm exercising. I'm muscle IQing, knowing what the actual bicep does, and that kind of, putting those kinds of pieces together make your workout completely different. So, and as people keep advancing, you don't want to think in the workout, but eventually you got to challenge yourself in different ways, right? So this is a cool way to do that.
But you just said it. It's putting your mind to your muscle, and that there is absolutely a mind-body connection that needs to take place if you want to continue to see progress.
Right.
There's just no question about it. And I think that people need to learn how to discern the difference between pain and discomfort.
Yes.
Right.
So, I've always said, like, you fight through discomfort because discomfort is where change happens, whether that's physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. Pain is where you make modifications, not stop. We're not quitting.
Right.
We're modifying to a place that you can be pain-free while moving, but discomfort is where you continue to challenge.
Yeah.
But also knowing that you shouldn't get to the level of pain.
Right.
And it's okay if if you're not able to do the full 45 seconds of or whatever the movement is correctly, it doesn't make you any less of a person or you're doing any less of the workout.
Correct.
You're still being efficient, and day by day, you're going to see, okay, now one day you're going to wake up and say, I just did 45 seconds of that movement, perfect form, because your body got into better shape.
Yeah, and I think these forums like this allow us to continue to communicate. We don't have a lot of time in that little intro period to have these conversations with members about, hey, like, here's how we want you to approach the workout. So conversations like this, I think, are really helpful for our members to hear so that they can start thinking about their workouts in different ways and finding ways to kind of make their workout their own, very much like you have done.
Yep.
It's your hour. I mean, this is your hour to yourself. Maybe for some of you, the only hour you have to yourself. So let's find a way to make that the most advantageous for you in any capacity.
Right. And if, like I always tell the members, they see me with a few people going, make them do some crazy things. If you feel like you get in better shape, I feel like.
Challenge yourself.
Yep.
Or
and this is the month. We're adding stamina through cardio. We are adding overload.
Yep.
For resistance.
Hopefully we can come up with this.
It's a good month, y'all.
Yep.
Get in the gym.
And I think maybe the next video that we do or podcast we do would be talking about specifically, like we said, like as you get further in your F45 journey, really start paying attention to the classes, the times, the reps, all of that stuff. And then you can challenge yourself within the workout. All right, cool. Today's a 55-second workout. I probably should do lighter reps, lighter weight and higher reps, that kind of stuff, right? So you just start plugging and playing and challenging yourself within the workout. We should do a whole video on that.
And we'll do a better job of communicating that, in the week leading into the week, so that people can approach their workout thoughtfully, like you said. And
right.
I think we've been doing that though, and I think people. I've had a couple of people be like, "Oh, that's all. I didn't know that. I didn't know why we did." And it's just like you take it for granted because we're in the fitness world, but it's like that's what people are paying to come to us for and educate them on. So it's like, all right, cool, we can do that. That's fun.
And there's a reason that you see, every now and then I'll say, well, we just did lunge jumps, or we just did those front squats. There's a reason you're seeing those multiple times in a week, and you're seeing them in a different application of gravity,
right?
So that it's attacking different parts of the same muscle groups to add progress. So again, this is not a haphazardly created workout. It is incredibly well thought out, and there's a reason you were seeing lunge jumps as much as you hate them. But you're going to be amazed at the end of the month when we go to three-peat, how many lunge jumps you can do correctly because of all of these things we are doing in the beginning of the month.
Bench chops.
Don't skip your
Inside
lunge
scoop.
jumps.
Bench chops.
and
chops.
bench chops.
That's why we're doing so many of them now.
Yeah.
But that's the good part is like too, and I think what I talked about yesterday, this is what makes F45 so genius is leading up to the bench hops, you're also doing like a stability work for your shoulder, a core, and then you go to the bench hop and you're putting both of those together.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's the cool part is like just watching that journey and how they do that
Yes.
with every exercise. It's
And you
fun.
don't have to think, you as a member, you don't have to think about that.
Right.
These are things are thought out for you. You just have to get in there and do it.
Yep.
Right.
Well, good stuff, ladies. I know, Kristin, you're on a tight schedule. You got some stuff going. I do too. But thank you guys for the time. This was awesome.
Great
I know,
conversation.
right?
You're rocking
Awesome.
Keri's KB
Always.
way. Have the best
Yeah,
day.
I know.
I know everybody needs to have the best day today.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
so. I believe it.
Well, thank you guys
Thanks for
again.
having us.
We'll do it
I know.
again soon.
Okay, cool.
Good shit.
That's a wrap.